Welcome to Setting the Stage. I'm Brooke Savage. On January 31st, Ruben Studdard and Clay Aiken from American Idol are coming to the Villages. And so today we have Clay Aiken joining us to tell us all about the show and what we can expect. Hey, Clay, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us during your busy tour schedule. I know you have a show scheduled for tonight as well. I first wanted to ask, what made you guys want to put on a reunion tour?
20 years is sort of a big deal, and Ruben made the point to reminded me of it. It's kind of crazy to believe it's been 20 years. It's kind of mind blowing. It feels like it was just yesterday for us, and I think a lot of people who watched. And so, it seemed like something worth celebrating that we are still alive 20 years later, that we're able to continue performing 20 years later. A lot of people would be lucky to be able to do it for a year or two. To be able to have been able to do it for 20 years is something worth celebrating. So it's a celebration, and it's a thank you to the people who watched us in 2003 and those people who've continued to support us and allow us to do this for so long.
Wow, I love that. So, what can people expect from this show? Are you guys going to be performing some of your songs?
No, it's not. It's actually not a show that's where Ruben does his stuff and I do my stuff. We're kind of recreating 2003. We're doing a lot of stuff that we did on the show in 2003. We're telling the stories of what it was like to be on the show in 2003, backstage secret, that type of stuff. And I think what made Idol such a hit from the beginning was that it was music that people could sing along to. We talk about working with Lamont Dozier and Olivia Newton-John and Robin Gibb and Smokey Robinson, and we sing some of their music. So it's all music that is part of the American songbook from the last 50 years, stuff that people know and can sing along to and dance to and enjoy. And we really try to transport people back to 2003.
That is so cool. You guys are really hitting on the nostalgia there. So, what can talk us through your American Idol experience? What was it like? How did you get on the show? There wasn't the internet was like just starting off back then. So,
You're making me feel old. The internet had been around for a while, but we didn't have social media.
that's
So
what I meant. Sorry.
yeah, the internet had been around a minute, but we auditioned. We had seen the first season, seen a little bit of what had happened in season one, and I think both of us just thought it would be a summer camp experience. Ruben auditioned in Nashville, I auditioned in Atlanta, and we're sent to Hollywood and went through the whole Hollywood week experience, and I mean, it kind of snowballed from there. No one in our season really realized that it was going to be this huge hit. It had 9 million viewers season one and 40 million viewers in our season. So it was a huge jump. None of us had recognized what the stakes were going to be. No one knew what to expect. And so we just thought we were going to go have a good time, and it ended up changing our lives.
Wow, and what does it mean to you guys to play such a big role in pop culture? I mean, like your American Idol brought families together. I used to watch the show with my mom growing up.
Um, it's really cool to watch the people who were teenagers and grew up with the show. They were 10 then, they're 30 now. They're bringing their own kids to the show. That's really kind of cool to see. We feel like we're very lucky that we were able to be a part of it in the time that we did before the media landscape changed and everybody went to streaming or social media or sharing, watching things on TikTok or whatnot. We were lucky that we got to be a part of it when we did.
And do you guys still keep in touch with any like other contestants from the show or any of the judges?
Yeah, we stay in touch with all of our former contestants. We still have a text thread, and we message back and forth with each other to stay in touch and check in with people on birthdays. We haven't gotten together as a group in a while, but we probably need to do that since we're on our 20th anniversary still. But some of the other contestants have come to see the show on tour with us. We've had Vanessa Olivares come. We had Julia D'Amato a few weeks ago. So we get to see people as the tour goes on. We've been able to kind of keep in touch with people that way, but we stay in touch through via text as a group too.
That is so cool that you're able to do that. So tell us what you've been doing since American Idol.
Well, we're celebrating a 20th anniversary of performing for 20 years. So that's what we've been doing for 20 years. Continuing to perform. Ruben's put out a bunch of albums. I went into like the public service world for a little bit and have decided that that isn't going to work. So I'm back on stage and recording. I mean, we both used the platform that we got from Idol to kind of build our careers.
And since we talked about, like, when you started off, it was like before like social media was super big. I was just wondering, how have you guys evolved with pop culture? Because obviously, like, people still love listening to you and hearing from you.
Well, I don't know that we've evolved in any way. We're still ourselves. I mean, you don't have much choice but to learn how to work with the technology that gets thrown in front of you. So, I mean, I don't. I think what Ruben and I are both proud of is that we've tried to maintain, have tried to stay true to who we are, and tried to not change if that makes sense, if that's possible, to not try to become something we're not. And so I'm kind of proud that we haven't, become a part of the. I don't know. I've tried to stay who I am for the last 20 years, for the last 45.
That is really great. So I do have to ask this because I just saw the episode like last week. What was it like when you were like on The Office? Because this is what I mean by like how much you guys were involved in pop culture. Like you were like on one of like the last few episodes of The Office and everything. So what was it like being on that show?
Oh, that was cool. I mean, I've always been a fan of The Office. I was a huge fan when it was on, and from the beginning. And so I've gotten to do quite a few of those things: 30 Rock, The Office. I mean, things like that over the years. So that's kind of neat. It's nice to have I guess, the name recognition to be able to have those opportunities.
You were so funny in that episode, like your acting and everything. I just thought it was hilarious. But so, the Villages is not far from the theme park, so I was just a little bit curious. Did you guys ever get a chance to check out the American Idol experience at Disney?
I have not. Ruben went down there because he won. He went down with all the winners when they opened it up. I have not seen it yet myself.
Oh yeah, it is since closed down, but I thought it was so cool because it really made people feel like they were like closer to American Idol and everything with the music and people competing and still seeing a show. But yeah, I just wanted to ask about that. So another question I had was, how has reality TV competition changed the game when it comes to music and stardom?
I don't know that. I mean, it certainly did for a period in the 2000s. Changed the game because so many people were coming off of it. I think now reality shows in the past 15 years or so have been only a small piece of it. The social media has been a much larger part of where we find our pop stars, and where we find people who are in the music world, TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. So reality TV certainly made it more accessible for people around the country who didn't have opportunities to get record deals. I would not have been able to get a record deal myself had it not been for Idol. It's broadened the landscape and allowed more people access to it. And then social media just continued that and made it even more broad.
Yeah. And I like to ask this question. What's it like being on the road, being away from your families? Do you get breaks? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that becomes part of life. It can be a little boring sometimes out on the road, but we've done this tour since April, and we've made a point to take breaks throughout. So we were out for quite a bit of the spring, and then we took a few months off in the summer, and then we went back out in the fall. We took a month off for the holidays, and we're back out again for this leg. So, you try to make sure you schedule it in a way that makes it a little more palatable.
And is there something you guys do to prepare for shows? Like whenever I'm talking to like actors or singers, they talk about, how they're like resting their voice and things like that.
Well, I'm not resting my voice too much because I'm doing these press things today. But I think after a while, it's like working out. We're going to imagine going to the gym and lifting the exact same weight, the exact same way every single day. At some point, it stops being difficult, and the muscle is worked out. And so I think we stay sort of warmed up. We try to make sure we take at least one day off a week to relax and rest our voices. But for the most part, it's pretty consistent. We're pretty steady out with shows four or five times a week.
And what does it mean to you to be coming to Central Florida, the Villages?
We're thrilled to be coming to some warm weather. We've spent the last few weeks up in the upper Midwest, and we're in the Northeast now where it's bitterly cold, and we are thrilled that the last part of our tour is in Florida so we can get some gorgeous weather finally.
Yes, I will admit it's a little bit chilly here, but maybe it won't be like that for you since you're not a Floridian and not used to the cold.
Yeah, it'll be warm compared to where we are, I'm sure.
And so what's next for you guys once your tour wraps up?
Well, we're going to continue with this as long as people want to have us do it. So, Ruben had put on an album. We're both. This tour was supposed to be just like I said in April and May and June of last year, and it's continued to extend. So, I'm not quite sure what'll be next or when next will be because the tour is going to continue as long as people keep wanting to see it, and it's been very successful. People have had a great time, and we keep having people ask us to come back for more.
Alrighty, anything else you want to mention about your show?
That's all. We'll look forward to seeing you there.
All right, Clay, thank you so much for joining us again. Their tour, their reunion tour called 20 The Tour with Ruben and Clay is coming to the Villages at the Sharon on January 31st. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.